truth is that I crave you. And every time I give in, it never feels as good as it used to. 'Cause every single high is the very last time. That's what I tell myself. But I think I need help. I think I need rehab to get myself back and get up on my feet. 'Cause I can't stand with this hold you have on me. And they say admitting it to yourself is the first step in recovery. To coming clean.
Welcome, everybody, to Picks and Bones. It's Eric, bringing you the best in Americana, red dirt, red clay, Carolina, black dirt, and just good old American rock and roll. Because at the end of the day, it's just American music. Today, I have the amazingly talented and beautiful Brandi Colt sitting in front of me. She's in the studio today. How you doing, Brandi?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing great. I've been wanting to get you on the show. You've got a new single out that's
I do.
doing really well, and people are really digging it. So, why don't you tell us about the process of you getting this out and making this?
Oh gosh. Well, I guess my entire very short music career that I've had so far, it began really about four and a half months ago, and I went through a really, really bad breakup, and
It usually spurs the best,
Yeah.
as at least as far as country music. That's what actually spurs the best.
Yeah, it's like help your local music scene and break a musician's heart.
Right.
But I went through a really bad breakup, and I had been really kind of on a hiatus other than just sitting on my porch and playing and writing. And I decided to take a song that I wrote, and I'm like, well, I'm going to take it to the studio, and I'm just going to get something recorded, and that way, maybe I can give it to my son Colt or just have something, later. I wasn't really planning on doing anything or starting up any type of music career at the time. And I don't know what happened. I started recording the song, and then I started meeting people, and the next thing I knew, I was playing shows every week and putting more stuff out there and collaborating and connecting with other musicians. But the song this is my second single that I released. It's called Didn't Last, and I wrote it. I started writing it about 5 years ago. And,
Oh wow!
Yeah,
So this has got some serious history to it.
yeah, I started writing it. Well, I got the theme for it about 5 years ago, and it had been sitting in my notes for a long time. And I resurrected it, and then I started messing around with it, and totally rewrote the song. Like everything about it's different. But I was stuck on the second verse, and a friend of mine in Virginia, her name is Amy Benish. She's on iTunes too. You can look her up. But she's a really good songwriter, and I shot it over to her and told her I was having trouble with it. And she kind of helped me mold and she guided the second verse for me, so she co-wrote the song with me. And we went to Red Arrow Studios, and we recorded it there with Cliff Witherspoon, and had some really amazing musicians on this track. I'm really stoked about how everything turned out. But I have Matt Parks was featuring him on the fiddle track, and he's got a fiddle solo in it. And the song was actually, it was made for him.
When I stood on that floor, we both know it raised a heartbeat. 'Cause you ain't gotta say much just to bring back that feeling. Even the silence stirs up the memories of an autograph on the bottle in the kitchen.
And then Andrew Crawford, he's playing lead guitar on it. We've got lead Marcus, who's playing rhythm, and then my uncle Greg Putnam, he's doing the drum tracks, and then we've got Cliff on bass. But the whole song, it exceeded my expectations of what I thought that I was going to be able to do musically and songwriting wise, and I'm really excited about it.
You should be, because honestly, you can tell and feel your heart and soul has been put into that song.
Thank you.
And I think anybody that listens to it is going to get that as well, because, it's so identifiable. It's got such, the music itself is really well done. And honestly, I really see, when I hear your voice, you're a mountain girl.
Oh, yeah.
You're a mountain girl through and through, which we're up from the same area. Yeah. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for that. And with that, I see, I don't know if you've got any plans for this, but what I'm hearing is more of that, homage to some bluegrassy.
Yeah.
Because your voice and even with your songwriting type and style and everything, I think you could completely elevate some of that kind of music. And actually, Andrew Crawford and I kind of had a discussion about that earlier.
I was about to say, I know you've been talking to Andrew then, because that sounds like something that's coming out of his mouth to me.
We both kind of did the same. Almost, it came out of both of our mouths at the same time when we were having lunch today. It's because your talent, it's great, and you could go either way. You could go that pop country route.
No.
But I don't think that's who you are.
That's not who I am.
Because, we've gotten to be friends and gotten to spend some time together. And I don't see you as a pop country girl.
Yeah.
But I do see you as a mountain girl holding true to roots.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that, that bluegrass roots. Or at least that bluegrass feel. Yeah,
like almost like there's so many, I love country music so much, and you're right, I'm not a pop country girl. No. I can have a bubbly personality sometimes, but that's not who I am musically. And I love the Appalachian sound. I love the bluegrass sound, but I like I think the direction, or in at least some of the music I do, I want to add those elements in, but not be completely bluegrass. Like maybe you have the percussive, banjo rolls, and I have that. And in Rehab, the very first song I released, Lee Marcus came in and did that. And lots of fiddle. I'm a fiddle. I'm obsessed with fiddle. It's my absolute favorite instrument, and people are going to have to probably tell me, like, you have to stop putting fiddle in your music for me to ever stop. You know?
You don't.
I love it.
And we can go ahead and kind of go into something we were kind of talking about before we started recording.
Yeah.
That musicians in our area and those of us involved in the music scene around here right now, we're kind of having a rebirth.
Yeah, like an awakening.
That this is nothing against anybody that's doing red dirt, brown dirt, or anything else like that. But I think the Carolinas have kind of lost their way a little bit. And, I've talked with many artists, and we were kind of talking about this earlier, that we have that Carolina red dirt is kind of what our scene is. Because before there was a Texas or anything else, there was a Carolina.
Yep.
And I think the musicians from the Carolinas, it's so important for all of us to pull together, musicians, promoters, bookers, everybody else. It's time to start
everybody who loves the music here, loves the music scene here, and has that true heart. You have many camps of people, but the two main ones are the people who are like, okay, I'm just in this to make money, or for just the notoriety. And those are the people that, we're not going to be able to lock arms and form those the musical brotherhood, so to speak, with people like that. But then we've got on the other camp, we've got people like me, like Andrew Crawford, Jake Bartley Band, Justin Clyde, the Piedmont Boys, Tyler Hatley, Parker Ford,
Jared Forrester,
Leanne, Anna Lee Band,
her.
There's just we've got such a good just core of musicians who really truly love the music, and they love to write, and they love to pour their hearts out. And all of us lock arms and we start doing, I mean, I hate to keep comparing us to Texas, but we do what the guys in Texas did. They promoted
Absolutely.
each other like crazy. They treated each other like they were family, and they would swap shows and get out there. And when you graduate with your class, when one person makes it, one person gets that notoriety and that fame, so to
bringing
speak,
everybody
else goes too. And bam, we've got a culture here.
Yep.
You know?
And we really do. And I think we are right there on the precipice of making this happen.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, everybody already works together. And, you know, then you've got like on the list that Sheila's doing.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm a contributor to that. But this is letting people get to know the other people who love the music as much as those of us that are actually putting our heads and necks out there, so to speak.
Yeah.
And, you know, but as far as musicians and everything, I dare you to find as many talented musicians actually kind of combined in one little small area or smallish area.
It's a small region.
I mean, it's a small region, but I think we are all on a transcendence. That's what we'll call it.
That's what it feels like.
Transcendence of the music scene. And I think instead of people thinking that that the only way they're going to ever make it is to do Red Dirt. And once again, I'm going to make that disclaimer. I talk to a lot of Red Dirt artists. They are just as passionate about what they're doing as what the Carolina scene is doing. And I love that. And I fully support, I support, if you're in the genre, if you're in Americana, you're doing just good old down home American music, I'm going to support the hell out of you.
100%.
100%. But you're always going to have a soft spot for where you come from.
Yeah.
And this is my family.
Yeah.
And it's all these guys that we've been talking about. It's why I even started this show. So, you know, if any little thing that I can do to help make this happen, because then we've got the newer artists like you that are coming up that you're like, hey, y'all, we're not done yet.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, this band's maybe been around here for 20 years, and they're great and all.
Well, it's a cool thing, though, is the bands that have been around for 20 years, like the Piedmont Boys is a good example.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw them for the very first time probably, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And I had just gotten back from Texas, actually. I went to the Larry Joe Taylor Music Festival out there. I ended up meeting, like, Josh Abbott Band's banjo player, sitting around a fire with him, and then Mike Ryan, Randy Rogers, and them were out there. I saw Hayes Carl and Ray Wiley Hubbard live. I hugged Ray Wiley Hubbard.
That's awesome.
And everybody was so cool. And I was so...
Just about the Snake Farm.
No. But I was so inspired when I came back because, I mean, it was just a festival, and, you know, at night everybody would sit around these fires, and all the big musicians and their bands would come out and sit with us, and we were just jamming and writing and connecting, and I saw how it was there, and I started getting that vision for it to be the same way here, and I knew it was going to happen one day. And I had no idea that I was going to be able to be a part of it, you know. So it's just incredible.
Oh, it is. Absolutely.
I love watching all of this unfold. But I can't wait to see our music scene around here continue to, you know, we said it's an awakening, like continue to rise, continue to, you know, unfold, and more people come in the mix. But what I was saying is, like, people like the Piedmont Boys years ago were inspiring people like me who hadn't gotten out there and started writing, and now, you know, people are jumping into the scene. And
Greg has kind of taken the time to mentor so many people over the years. I mean, love him or hate him, he's done a lot for the music scene around here. And, you know, I respect him for that. And he's actually going to be a guest here in a week or so. But yeah, and there's been so many iterations of that band too, that, you know, that's brought in, you know, this different people and it growing from here to there or whatever. And honestly, I think the lineup he has right now is probably the solidest they've ever been as far as cohesion as a band.
Yeah. And
you got any plans on having your own band to start backing you up?
Yeah, actually, we have just started. Randall Martin plays guitar with me, and we do acoustic duos right now. But Jason Phillips, he was actually in the Piedmont Boys a long time ago, and then I think he toured with Marcus King, and he's a phenomenal drummer, and he's going to be playing drums with us. And then I've been talking to Joel Green, about playing bass with us, which he's
Love
awesome.
Joel.
I know. He's like one of the best people ever. And
He's got such a killer personality.
Yeah.
And his jokes are, I mean, he will crack you up.
Oh.
Because he will deadpan look at you straight in the face and say something, and you're like, is he kidding? Is he being serious here? And then you're like, okay, I love it. He's being semi-serious.
Well, we actually met. I mean, I've met him before, but we met to talk about the position for the project. I guess last week or the week before, but we met for lunch, and we ended up sitting there for 3 hours and both discovered we're weirdos. Both of us are just weirdos. So it's perfect. It's like a perfect match.
It's kind of like me and Tribble's conversation that we did. Yeah, we believe in, aliens, and there are things out there that we can't explain.
We were getting into like existentialism and like just things that people sitting around us were probably like, what in the world are these people on? You know? But he's the best, but I'm still right now I'm looking for a fiddle player because I mean we have such great fiddle players in the area, but everybody's so booked up all the time,
and everybody wants Matt.
Yeah, I know.
Shout out to Matt Parks.
Yeah, and then Kevin too from Dirty Grass Salt. Oh my gosh, yeah, he's incredible. Those guys are some of the best people I've ever met. You know, they're just their entire their fan base, like their families. They're awesome.
Yeah, they're family to me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why, I go help them with festivals and everything else, which is how we got to actually have a good conversation a few weeks back at one of those festivals. Shout out to Kevin for bringing everybody together.
Yeah, true. Thanks.
And so what's next for Brandi?
Well, we are... I'm working on an EP right now. Andrew Crawford is helping me with is helping really Cliff, but he's co-producing the EP. So him and I've been getting together, and he's helping me with the arrangements, making sure I've got the best musical ideas I can possibly have, and even working with me lyrically on some of the lyrics too. But we're almost wrapped up with I guess you call it pre-production for that. But the pre-production for everything, I think we've got one more song we've got to hammer out. Then we're going to be taking it to the studio at Red Arrow and getting everything tracked. And hoping, if everything goes on schedule, I don't want to throw out a date yet, but I should be releasing at least the first song on the EP, maybe in March, late March. That's what I'm shooting for, but it could be a little bit later than that, depending on how everything goes. But
well, that we're going to have to get you back on the show then.
Oh yeah.
When the EP's ready to go out, so we can kind of debut it.
Yeah.
And actually, awesome. Something everybody doesn't know and they have not heard yet. Valentine's Day, you guys need to be looking for a live out to the whole world. It's going to be going live on Facebook, or podcast wise, video wise. We're going to be debuting Andrew Crawford's first single, him doing his own thing. And I'm telling you guys, Andrew is a bad man.
He is hands down probably the best songwriter I've ever met. Like he is, I mean, really, sometimes we'll be working on something in mind and getting ready to record. And he's like, you want to hear this new song I wrote? And he'll play it for me real quick. And I'm like, well, I just need to go home. He's that good, but I can't wait for this. I can't wait for his music to drop because people are going to flip out.
I'm so proud of him. And I mean, I've heard it. I've heard the album. So, I mean, I know what people are getting ready to get
I know.
dropped
and
in their
nobody
lap.
knows it's coming either.
They don't.
That's the thing.
They don't.
Like, you're not going to know it.
I think there's only maybe five of us in the world that know what's getting ready to happen to this music scene. And for this guy, holy hell.
Yeah, it's about to break open.
It is. And he's got that positive attitude. You've got such a positive attitude that you can, and how you carry yourself musically, because and this is something that Leanne and I talked about this when she was on the show.
I love her.
She's one of my favorite people in the whole wide universe, and one of my best good friends. Yes, I just quoted Gump. How hard have you found it being a woman trying to fit into what has always been almost a dominant male society? I know you have to deal with a lot of the misogynistic attitudes and everything, even with like some of the venue owners and everything. Yeah. But how's the experience going so far? I know you're still kicking ass, so it's not beating you down and you haven't given up.
Honestly, there's some benefits to it, and then there's some cons to it as well. But it hasn't really been too bad. I think I'm trying to think of how to word this. I think the biggest thing that I've had trouble navigating is because I am single. And so a lot of the men that I know in the music scene, they have a girlfriend or they have a wife, or so it's like I try to kind of navigate that very carefully, because I don't want to ever give the wrong impression, or especially to the women in their lives or anything. I feel like I need to be friends with them and let them get to know me and know that I'm harmless. So I think that's like
I'm not looking to steal your man.
No, exactly. Like I think that's the thing that makes me more nervous than anything, because as far as it being a man's world and stuff like that, I don't know. I don't think a lot about it. I do what I do, and I write and I keep going. And I
don't honestly think that it's a man's world anymore.
No.
And you'll find I'm very much I want women to be able to go do anything they want to do. If you want to just completely take over country music and be the next hugest thing that ever hit, by God, I will help you along the way. It's just, I know that sometimes that can be a little daunting.
It can be.
Well,
it's like sometimes, playing a 4-hour show, and sometimes I feel like, do they want to hear a guy sing, You know what I'm talking about? It's like, because people are used to hearing a male-dominated music scene, and a female, it's just something different to your ears. But, I've been everywhere that I played, and all the people that I played with, I've been really well received,
That's awesome.
And I haven't felt that way. So I think that those were my biggest fears and like what made me most nervous. But it's been really, really good for the most part. And we need more women in our music scene. I think
really do.
There's only a small. I think me, Leanne, we've got Rashana. I forget
from Lucretia and
Lucretia and who else?
Darby S.
Yeah, there's like especially in the country music scene. So
yeah, you can count on two hands how many we've got just in the area doing their thing.
Yeah, I would love to see some of the girls in the area. I told Leanne this not too long ago. Just kind of lock arms and do like the Honky Tonk Queens tour or something like that. Just locally, it'd be so cool.
Let me book that for you.
All right, let's do it.
Because that is an idea I can absolutely get behind. Because why not? You got Brandi Colt doing it.
Yeah.
And you got all these other girls.
The highwaymen there, they're amazing.
The highway women, yeah.
The highway women.
You've got, there's so many others.
Yeah.
And you guys all together, holy cow. Well, you want to talk about a good night of music?
Exactly. It's like a voice that actually can connect with women in the area, because women can only understand women. You know how weird we all are.
Well, it's not even that. It's just the songs are so... 90% of the songs coming out of this area, guys don't necessarily write about their feelings.
Yeah, true.
And, more women should be able to have that opportunity to be able to have music that they can identify with from women that are just as approachable and empowered as they deserve to be, but they're the one. You guys are the ones up there on the stage doing this.
We're the musical voice for them.
Yeah, and I think that is an amazing thing that you guys are doing. And seriously, let's make this happen.
Yeah, I'm down. Let's do it.
Leanne, you're going to get a call.
Yeah. I already told her about it. I sent her a text a couple of days ago. I started naming people. I said Honky Tonk Queens Tour. So she's probably expecting it. But I love that girl to death. I can't wait to hear the next stuff that she puts out, because I found her music right when I got into the music scene here, and I was floored. I was just like, wow, she's such a great writer, and she has the sweetest, like, just most beautiful voice on all spectrums.
And she is one of those. She is a phenomenal songwriter. Well, and she's got such an ear for music. And I know she was raised that way, but she's got a great ear for music as well. But I think, at the end of the day, this is still all building everybody up, and we need to be able to, this is a whole nother. You're already taking our community and helping lift it up a little bit higher, because when our community is equal, our community is going to be stronger. Exactly. Or like I tell people, I actually sent Jason Isbell an invite to come on to promote his new album. And I said, my show may be small, but it's mighty.
Yeah.
Got ignored. But hey, one of these days,
it
it's his
won't
loss.
be.
His loss. I could get him, at least 5,000 more listeners.
Yeah. Well, it's like things. I don't know about you, but you can almost feel the energy in the air about what is coming. It's like
Just go to a show.
Like birthing pains or something's happening here, and it's just like with your show. It's like I actually was talking to Andrew about it when we were working on a song yesterday, and I was like, this is going to blow up. This is going to be the voice of the music scene in our area.
Yep.
And there's it's static in the air.
And and I love
it's
it.
Fun. It's awesome.
Well, and seriously, folks, get out, go to one of these local shows, and everybody we're talking about, they're playing all the Carolinas.
Yeah.
They're playing all over North Carolina, South Carolina, and everything. Get out and go to one of these shows. You're going to actually experience that energy that we're talking about. Go to some of these, singers in the round, like, Ziggy and Justin and Tyler and Parker did back at the holidays for their fundraiser.
Oh, that was fun.
Everybody had a good time, but you're feeling there's a lot more energy behind that. And everybody comes out and supports everybody.
Yeah.
And that's something, let's talk about Tribble as such a huge supporter.
Oh my gosh, yeah. He's
love
like
Ken to
an
death.
icon around here now.
He really is. And he's another one that has established it in such a small time frame. Mm-hmm. But what he has done in that small time frame, he has literally kicked the music scene in this area in the ass.
Oh yeah.
Because there is no genre of music other than gangster rap or mumble rap that's going to ever be played in that bar.
Yeah.
He opens it up. You want to do country? Come on, do country. You want to do a drag show? Come on, do a drag show. You want to have a metal night and we just blast it out? Let's do it.
And Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, and Cards Against Humanity
night.
Yeah, sipping and painting or whatever. He's really, what he's doing for the scene is...
It's huge.
It's refreshing.
Yeah.
Because there's so many. I'm not going to knock any of the venues around, but the scene had started to get a little bit stagnant because it was the same guys playing in the same places
every Thursday, every Friday,
every Thursday, Friday, or every Saturday, or they're rotated, once a month at the same places all around.
Yeah.
Everybody is now going out and playing more venues.
And the venues are getting more excited too. Like they're like, oh, I want to have that here at my venue. And it's, I've been getting a lot of calls from different people that I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that you were doing music. And they've started seeing what's going on at other places. Powdersville Pub's another one too. Keisha is she's such a supporter of the music scene. And
especially now that they just opened everything up and did the remodel.
Yeah.
They're going to be a great place. It could potentially be a listening room.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Which we need more listening rooms.
Yeah.
And one thing, since we're talking about the music scene, I'm gonna throw out a pet peeve that there's not a musician alive or around that is going to disagree with this. Let's talk some show etiquette.
Okay.
Folks, if you're at a show and you paid money to go see a band play, listen to the band play.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Don't get so rowdy, screaming and yelling and getting raucous that tied up. Go to your dive bar for that. If you're going to come out and hear a band, respect the band. And, we've had this discussion before. Don't argue about what it takes to pay to get in.
Oh, yeah.
For a door fee. $10
$10.
bucks.
Or $10.
You're going to piss that away on booze.
Exactly.
Why not? And people don't realize that this is the bread and butter. Mm-hmm. This is, you go to your job so you can provide for your family.
Yeah,
this
pays
you
for
got
their
a roof,
kids' fiddle lessons, the dinner, their rent, and
cigarettes and shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
cigarettes, shoes, and booze.
Yeah, this it has to cover everything. Just like in my show, I'm looking for sponsors, adding sponsors and Patreons, and I've got my first Patreon signed up yesterday. I love her to the moon and back. Thank you so much. I'll be in touch really, 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 really soon with some goodies for you.
I'm curious.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's people believing you. They don't have to know you personally to be able to believe in you and to believe in what you're doing. And like you said, we I'm looking at what I'm doing as the opportunity to help be everybody's voice, to get out there, to make other people appreciate,
what we have going on here.
And even with some of these, everybody I pretty much talk to are independents. Mm-hmm. They're, they don't have big record labels. Yeah. They've been in the game for 25 plus years, but never had a record label. They're doing it their own way. Yeah. And I respect that.
Absolutely.
Because, not everybody's going to, and I really wish, and I know this is going to sound, I wish more people would learn to appreciate something outside of that Nashville scene.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially just people who aren't musicians too, they don't know anything else because that's what's been glamorized by the media and glamorized by movies and things like that. So,
and that's what's on the radio.
Yeah, and that's what's on the radio.
And, I'm going to tell y'all folks, seriously, there's better music that you're going to discover that you're never, ever going to hear on the radio. And you guys are missing out so much.
My playlist, when I get in my car, it's actually almost all local people and with some Texas mixed in, you know, or, just very indie country music artist. But it was really cool to be able to get up my playlist and I'm like, I know everybody I'm listening to,
That's, and that's one thing, because, I do a play,
yeah, I saw
my
that.
playlist,
you,
and you're on the Spotify playlist. I'm working on doing a iTunes one as well to add that to my Apple users that are listening and everything. But that's a feature that I really love, because go listen, and I would even tell people, go listen to that Spotify list, that playlist first, so you can hear these artists. So then when you tune into the show, you're going to be able to identify with them when you're getting to meet them and who they are as people. Because I never set out to do the cookie cutter interviews.
Yeah.
I always want to just have conversations with people. Yeah. And I've made a lot of friends doing this. And all over the country, hell, all over the world. I've got a young lady in Sweden I'm talking with that's going to be coming on the show. It's probably going to end up being a bonus episode for...
Is it a musician?
It's a musician.
Oh,
she
cool.
is a symphonic metal singer.
Wow.
And she's 23 now. Yeah. She started her own music festival at 14.
That's pretty big. That's cool.
And, she's also the first trans in that metal.
Wow.
So she's doing amazing things.
Yeah.
Become a dear friend. And, so, yeah, you guys are going to get some metal coming your way, too. And what you guys also don't know, as far as that good old American rock and roll, you guys really need to be on the lookout. I heard tell there's going to be a nice little interview coming up with Musclefoot. So you guys are really in for a treat, because you want to talk about heavy rock and roll for here?
Yeah, but I saw a video of them. I haven't seen them live, but I was blown away. And they're
awesome.
Having that show, Valentine's Day show? I was going to try to go to that.
Them and Piedmont Boys.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's got Piedmont Boys playing with the Piedmont Boys.
yeah, exactly. That's cool, though. I like the name Musclefoot, though. It's a cool band name.
They did a good job with that. Let's come back to you. How did you even get started in music?
Well, just about everybody in my family is some type of musician. I remember whenever I was just 6, 7 years old, my dad and all my uncles, they all had a band called the Hudson Brothers back in the day. And, I don't really know how often they went out and really played, but, they're all songwriters of some sort. And we would have family parties, and they would set their band up in my uncle's garage. And I remember writing my first song. It was called Tears. And it was to the tune of Seminole Wind. And my dad got me up on their stage, I'm putting it in quotations, to sing it for the whole family. But I started writing when I was 7. And so we always had a guitar laying around the house. And one year, I guess, I don't know, it was after high school, not too long after high school. But I just pretty much locked myself in my bedroom basement downstairs. It was right after I graduated, and I taught myself how to play because I wanted to be able to get the songs in my head on the music. And I kept going, and I've always written and sang and loved music, and I knew one day I would do something, you know. I just didn't know what or when it was going to be, and I guess here I am, you know.
And thank God you did.
I love it though. I love how genuine, at least the people that I've met so far, and like Andrew and Jake Bartley Band, Tribbles, and just everybody is just such a genuine love for music, and I have that too, and I think that's why we're all so drawn to each other.
I think so too.
So I love that. I feel really thankful and blessed to be part of what's going on right now in the area.
Well, music is a universal language.
Absolutely.
And I think people get tired of hearing me say that.
Yeah.
But music brings us together because there's not a culture in the world that doesn't have it.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or form. So, you ready to jump into some bare bones?
Yeah.
All right. What was your first guitar? And what's your favorite?
My first guitar was a Yamaha. And my favorite guitar, I have a Taylor right now. It's a 200 series Taylor, and I love it. But my favorite guitar was this brand of guitar called a Seagull, and I don't know anything about it. I just know it was called a Seagull. I got it at a pawn shop, and I love the way it had like that unfinished wood and just this, I don't know, like almost like a bassy sound to it. And I love the guitar, and somewhere along the way, I think it got stolen or it disappeared one day, and I never found it again. But it was called a Seagull, and it was just like a $200 pawn shop guitar. But that was my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love guitars. And well, you haven't even seen all the instruments laying around right now. Okay, what's a band you're into right now?
Oh gosh, a band. Well, Sunny Sweeney. I've been really listening to her a lot, but I'll tell you who I've been listening to a lot.
Yeah, I kind of heard you were just a little bit of a fan.
Yeah, I love her. I saw her, everybody's friend, Josh Dupe, he and I went and saw her at Eddie's Attic this past month, and then she's playing again at Ground Zero on Thursday, so I've got tickets to that too. But I'll tell you who I've been listening to a lot of lately is, her name's Bree Bagwell. Have you ever heard of her?
Absolutely. She is incredible.
Yeah, she is. And her and Courtney Patton, they write together a lot, and I found her because Courtney written the song with her, and I'm like a freaking Courtney Patton fanatic. I think her and Jason Eady are some of the best songwriters I've ever heard. And so I looked her up, and I fell in love with her. But I've been listening to her a lot lately, too. And then there's always Turnpike, which I'm waiting on them to get back together.
I'm waiting on Evan to come on the show.
Oh, that would be so cool.
I want Evan to. I say that every single episode. If anybody has a contact with Evan Felker, send him my way. I don't care about what happened with the band. I don't want to know if the band's ever going to get back together. I just want to talk songwriting.
Well, if he gets up here, I just got to come so he can sign my guitar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Deal. So if I ever get him on, I promise you, because I love Turnpike. Seriously, one of my favorite bands ever. And I make no qualms about that. Anybody can pretty much tell you that
every
one.
show that I play, I've got my Turnpike
I know you
hat.
had your Turnpike hat on.
I carry it with me. It's like my little security blanket.
And I almost had mine on that night too, because I was gonna be like, all right, we'd have been twins. And have you listened to what is it, Erin Enderlin?
Yes, I saw her. She was with Sonny at Eddie's Attic, and she is
awesome too.
Wow,
her new album is so good.
Yeah, I haven't gotten all the way through it yet. Like I get stuck on songs,
Yep, I do too.
And then I'll listen to it on repeat for like 2 straight weeks, and then I'll finally move to the next one. But I've been listening to her a good bit since then, and she's badass.
Okay, what's your all-time favorite book?
My all-time favorite book, Harry Potter.
Let you nerd out, girl.
Yep.
I like it. All right. Pulled pork or brisket?
I don't eat pork.
You don't eat pork?
Nope.
Okay, what about barbecue at all?
I'll eat chicken barbecue.
You don't eat beef barbecue?
Yeah, I'd eat beef barbecue. I don't
That's
know
brisket.
if I've ever had... Wait, brisket is beef barbecue? Yeah, then
Have
I'll
you
eat
been
that.
not eating brisket because you thought it was pork?
Like I just never thought about it. I guess I haven't eaten it in a while, but yeah, I'll eat barbecue.
Sauce or just dry rub?
Or what?
Do you use sauce or do you like it with just the dry rub?
I don't know, either one really. It just depends on the flavor.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Fair
I'm probably
enough.
more of a sauce girl than I am a dry rub.
All right.
Yeah.
Sweet, tangy, or
Sweet and spicy.
Sweet and spicy. Okay.
All day long.
So you like the Texas style.
Sweet
then.
and spicy.
All right. What was the first record you ever picked out and or bought for yourself? Could be a CD because I know you're younger than the rest of us.
Soundgarden.
Good choice.
It was Soundgarden.
See, I knew there was a reason why we were friends. What was the first concert you ever went to?
Hold on, I gotta think back. Went to on my own or like my parents took me to.
It could be either one. Just the first concert you remember going to.
Let's see. Alabama. We went. My dad knew one of the guys from Jeff Cook from Alabama, and we went to Myrtle Beach and saw them. I had dinner with them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Wars.
Good choice. Okay, what's your jam song? The volume's going up, the windows are coming down, and you're just letting it all hang out, probably screaming it at the top of your lungs.
Anything by Steve Earle.
Okay. That's a first on here. Congratulations. I love when people bring up new artists that I know of, but that is everybody has that jam band that who is their jam. And it's just, I always love to hear what somebody's ideas are and where they find. Because my last guest, wait till you guys hear this one that comes out on Friday. He had some doozies.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
that conversation, we ended up going an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was an incredible interview. Okay, a person living or dead that you'd like to take the stage with one time.
Let me think. Dolly Parton.
It's a good choice,
Not
too.
just because of her music, but I like who she is as a person. You know, she's like a really, really cool person. She's funny.
She is.
I'm not sure if I could actually play with her because I'd probably be laughing too much.
Or just completely flame up.
Or that.
Dolly.
Yeah, probably all of the above.
Okay, do you have a personal mantra?
Put me on the spot here. I've got so many personal mantras, but
Or just
actually, you know what? I do. I have a tattoo. You can't see it on my wrist, but it's of it's the Hebrew symbol for heart. I have like background in Jewish ancestry, and so the heart symbol. It's actually it means to do like not just follow your heart, you know, in the sense of the word, but to actually search your heart and to know that the things that you do, you're doing them from the right place, not from a selfish place or a self-serving place, but a place that also serves others. So,
that's really
like
awesome.
that right there.
I learned something today. Okay, besides yourself, who should people be listening to right now?
Anybody in the upstate North Carolina or South Carolina, upstate Georgia region, they should be listening to, Andrew, when he puts out his music. They should be listening to Anna Lee Band, to Parker Ford. He's got some new stuff out. Tyler Hatley, to Justin Clyde. I'm going to miss people here. Piedmont Boys, to, everybody in this region. If you find one of us, you'll find the rest of us.
Exactly. And we're probably all at somebody else's show.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. If you had a spirit animal, what would it be?
A fox.
See.
And if I had a pet fox, I would name him Nebuchadnezzar.
Nice.
Yeah.
I dig it. You got any shout-outs you want to give? I know we could give a mutual one.
I feel like we've been giving shout-outs to everybody.
Well, we're going to give a big shout-out. Big shout-out, Josh Dupe.
Yeah,
you're the man,
sure.
sir. You've been a long-time friend and supporter of not just the show, but of all these folks here. And just to say, we appreciate you.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel like we've been giving shout-outs to people this entire time, so everybody that we've mentioned in the previous conversation for sure. But one special shout-out, she's not in the music scene, but she's one of my very best friends, and she pushes me and has pushed me incredibly to just keep going. But her name's Ferris Carlin. She's a personal trainer in Oconee County, and you can find her on my friends list. But she's a huge supporter of anybody who's following their inspiration, and she's really pushed me to follow mine.
That's awesome. Everybody needs somebody like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's those little gestures that can completely change your mindset.
Absolutely.
It's like I had a music friend who's been on the show. Yesterday, she had put something on Facebook about my show because of me jumping into this as this is my job now. Yeah. This is what I'm doing. And she said just that one little bit of encouragement. Of course, I had to turn right around. But it's like, it's amazing what having somebody that believes in you that much to just say, hey, it's worth it.
Yeah,
you're
for sure.
You're doing the Lord's work. Keep it up.
Yeah, it means a lot. It really does. I mean, there's especially for a musician because we beat ourselves up so much. I don't know about everybody else, but everybody that I know, like we just constantly, maybe I shouldn't even be doing this, you know. And so anybody that comes up and they're like, "I love your song. It meant something to me," or you know, it got me through a hard time, or just wow, you're a good writer. Any type of encouragement, gosh, that'll keep us going for months, you know.
Yeah, and everybody needs to hear that.
Yeah, for sure.
So people remember to be kind to one another. Be kind to your local musicians.
Yeah.
Get out and support them wherever they're at. And I know we've kind of had, this has been kind of a Carolina edition, but it doesn't matter where you're at. If you're out in Illinois, I don't care if you're in Oklahoma, you're in Texas, you're in Florida, or up there in the great state of Oregon where my good old buddies from Brass Tacks and Adam Larson and company are. Go out, support these local bands. These guys are out there laying their heart on the line, working their butts off to entertain you. And speaking of that, 3 Gun Whiskey is another good one you guys need to check out. They've got an album coming out, and it's going to surprise everybody as well. So with that being said, Brandi, thank you so much for coming on the show. We will definitely have you back when the EP is ready to go. We'll delve in. We'll do a little dissection and dive into the lyrics.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
And we can have, discuss the lyrics and everything and get down to a deeper understanding of where you're coming from and where your mind and heart are these days.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. This has been fun.
Oh yeah, I've enjoyed this too. So folks, you heard it already. Get out, support local. Do what you got to do. Be good to one another. I will catch you next week.